Once upon a time, two retired teachers decided to convert their garage into a pottery studio. Along with their daughter and son, they built a business around the idea that the world could use a little more art and a lot more artists. We're the Kaya family. Welcome to Wocky Pots. Hi everybody, how you doing? How you been? How are things? Shane and Diana here with episode number 31 of our coffee time videos here at Wocky Pots Studio. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Diana, what are we going to talk about this week?
We are going to start with my very favorite thing to do, and that is our map update.
Map update!
Yay!
Nice. Map update.
Yes.
Okay.
I love doing the map update because it's just wonderful to see where everybody is in the world that is watching us, and I love finding out their names and their locations and then learning a little bit about where they live. So it's a great thing. So this week I really enjoy putting in a pen for you guys. Sousa in Magdeburg, Germany. Linda in Ontario, Canada. Bonnie from San Jose, California. Barb in Wind River, Wyoming. Nathan in Southwest Michigan. Marcy from Skokie, Illinois. Emily from Germany. And Linda from Florence, Oregon.
Very cool. Lots
So
of new
nice.
names.
Yes.
Guys, if you're a first-time watcher, welcome aboard. Thanks so much for watching.
And we're going to continue and talk about last week, because earlier this morning you were saying to me how, was it only a week away?
Yeah, we watched last week's episode, and it felt like it was a month ago. Like, oh, that was so long ago.
Yeah.
It really was not, but we've done so many things in the past week that it seems like a much longer time than it was.
There were a lot of additional things in there, and so I think that must be what did it. We had 2 classes last week.
Right.
We had the 4-H'ers come in to glaze their bird feeders and sculptures that they had done with us.
Right,
So-
and they're out of the kiln,
Yeah.
so I'll make sure I show you guys pictures of their awesome creations too.
Yes, and really nice job that they did. So you'll enjoy seeing those pictures. We also had the wheel throwing class last week too.
Right, Michael and Jackie came in, and
Yes.
they're naturals. They did a great job on the wheel.
They sure
they
did.
had been in our studio before doing some hand building things, in fact, several times. And they made out very well on the wheel. They each made a couple of bowls and trimmed a couple of bowls, and it was definitely a success.
Yes, and they came a little bit before so that they could glaze some things from a previous class that they had done with
Right.
us too.
Yep.
So those were 2 things in addition that we had last week. But also, you had to make the trip to Norristown, PA last week on Wednesday.
Right, me and Christopher were on the road again to the ceramic shop in Norristown, Pennsylvania, where we picked up about 5 cases of clay, which isn't that much. Normally we would
Probably
get a
should
lot
have
more.
gotten 10. However, you were in my car, and I had the truck.
We were planning on me taking the truck to Norristown and Diana using the car for the show. We didn't do that because I've neglected to get the oil changed in the truck again, and I'm not really ready to add that many more miles on
Right.
before we get that taken care of.
And getting to the market was fewer miles versus going to Pennsylvania.
Right.
So, and of course, I did take the truck, but on my way to the market, I stopped and picked up my wonderful cousin Karen, who helped me set up the market and run the booth, and she did such a wonderful job. She packaged everybody's things so much nicer than I usually do.
I was going to say, than me. I might be out of a job, you guys. I might be out of a job.
But it was really fun because we got everything done, and we were sitting down in chairs at 7:33, and she says, well, what do we do now? And I'm like, oh, we just relax for a little bit.
It is great. When we set up at the market, they stagger the vendors that set up on the inside. They have a specific setup time. Then a little bit later, the vendors that set up on the periphery, the outside of the market, will show up. And they do that so that there isn't a lot of people arriving and leaving at exactly the same time. But what that means is for the interior vendors like us, that means we have a nice, quiet, small stretch of time in the morning that is a really nice break. After you set up, get everything done and finished, you really can just sit and breathe. And it's a good chance for the vendors to walk around and chit-chat and talk with each other. And it makes for a pretty relaxing day, really.
Yeah, it's always a great way to start the day. So that was, we made out wonderful, and I had been very nervous about that.
Yep. And Karen was a champ. Thank you very much for helping, Karen. Because you and Diana, I know for sure, had the harder task that day. Christopher and I, all we had to do was drive and go pick up a few things.
You would have thought she'd been doing it all along. So it just worked.
Well, we really appreciated the help because
thank you so much.
It meant that we could divide and get different tasks finished.
Yes, so it did. And of course, we had a glaze load come out on Thursday, and we did do a glaze unload video this time because folks have been saying that even if it's a smaller one, to please go ahead and do that because everybody likes to see the things when they come out and hear what glazes were used, so that way they might get some ideas for pieces that they're doing. And so we did do that. I believe, did we do that Friday?
I believe so. Yes, because it was the day before the market, right?
Yes. So we did the glaze unload on Friday, but in addition to that, we actually put in an additional glaze load.
Like that same day.
That same day, guys, because the 4-Hers needed to get their pieces by this Tuesday. And so it was like, oh, okay, well, instead of doing a bisque load, we'll do another glaze load. So we had their pieces to go in. We had Michael's and Jackie's pieces to go in. And then we glazed as many things as we possibly can so that we actually filled up the kiln. The
fires of Mount Doom were roaring this weekend. Holy cow. 2 back-to-back kiln firings within a very short period of time.
Yes. So it was amazing. But it did give me the opportunity to test out some new glazes that you brought back from Pennsylvania.
Right. So we tried out a couple of new glazes, partly because we just like to try different new glazes, new for us, and also because some of our favorite glazes were out of stock. Man, that blue hydrangea, I'll be so glad when that's back in.
I know.
But we have some interesting results for a couple of the new glazes. We want to share these with you, 3 of them in particular. The first one is something we're looking forward to for autumn and fall. Dinah, tell us
Isn't that just beautiful, guys? I mean, it doesn't get any more fall looking than that. But this is Deep Sienna Speckle. This is an Amico glaze that's been around for a while, but just one that we had not tried before. And it shows texture off beautifully, and I can just see so many things done with this. I need to do some more pumpkins because
all of our pumpkins
have sold already, guys.
Summer pumpkins.
Yes, we have no pumpkins left. We have no manger scenes left, so we actually have to do some seasonal type
seasonal
things.
Stuff. Yes. Christmas trees and bunny rabbits and that kind of stuff.
So anyway, but then we also got some of Amico's brand new glazes for the year, and we got this one, which is Fire and Ice, and it is one that the one thing I noticed with the new glazes is they're super thick in consistency, and this one actually requires 3 to 4 heavy brush coats.
And you put 3 on that one, right?
I did put 3 on that one, and it has lots of texture, but I thought that would help to get it to show because it says that it's deep red where thick and icy blue where thin. So I thought in the crevices of the texture we'd get that red, and then the parts that stuck up would be that ice blue. We really didn't get that. There's just can you see a little bit of red? I think I can.
Very
just
little bit.
Very light.
It's supposed to be white and blue and red.
Yeah.
And we'll definitely, I'll show you a picture of it so you'll see. But we're going to try it again with 4 coats instead of 3.
Yeah. And we'll see how that goes. However, these next 2, ooh boy.
They turned out great.
I absolutely love them, and I really can't figure out which one is my favorite. Do you have a
Okay,
favorite?
so it depends on the task. I
Okay.
actually was thinking about this one. I like the golden honey if you're going to put it on something with a texture because I like kind of the
Okay.
antique feel. This is
It's
semi-gloss,
yes,
right?
semi-gloss.
So
it's
not really
not real
matte,
shiny.
but not matte either. It's not completely dull. It does have a little bit of a sheen, and I love this, and I love how it behaves around the texture.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
and it's a pretty color and one that we don't have enough of. We don't have enough bright yellow colors. Now, for something with a texture, I like this golden honey,
Yes.
but the teal drift is
That is
so
gorgeous,
pretty.
guys.
I love that blue, but it obscures the texture. And again, I'll show pictures of these so you can see what I mean. But both of these hearts had a texture on them, but the blue one doesn't allow the texture to come through. So for smooth things, that's what we'd use the teal drift
And I
for.
will tell you, this one also, like that Fire and Ice, is supposed to have 3 to 4 coats.
And that was 3.
This was only 3, and the texture's pretty much gone from this. So on a textured piece, you definitely would not want 4.
Right.
But oh, my goodness, and I
love the
keep
color.
thinking, I even keep looking at them, going, maybe together,
Maybe together,
maybe
right?
together, guys. So I'm going to be playing with these.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
And those are a couple of the new
Yes.
glazes
So I was happy
that
with
we
those.
just tried out
Yay.
in our last load.
Very
now
happy.
we had some other things happening in that last kiln load too.
Oh, that's right.
We refired several pieces, and that's what these 3 pieces on the pedestal here are
Yes.
for. We'll talk about the starfish first. This was the 3rd time this one's been fired, right?
Yes. Well, and
glaze fired.
in truth, this one I thought was going to have to end up just being a paintbrush holder. It's the only one I had that for whatever reason, it was covered in blemishes.
In those pock marks, they had a lot of these pits and pock marks in it.
And it was sharp.
Yep, and not so much ones that we thought we could just smooth out and it would be
Right.
fine. They were pretty severe. However, now it's nice. I would call it
Yes.
perfect. I would call
Yes.
it absolutely sellable. So we refired it, but we didn't just refire it. Diana put a coat of
Honey
flux on the outside.
I did.
And that smoothed things out.
Mm-hmm.
Now we also refired my little pink cup, which I glazed it before.
If you saw the kiln unload, this is the one in the kiln unload.
I was quite disappointed with this.
and it
with the
looked
kiln.
gray.
It was a little too gray. It's still a little dark, the purple, but Diana totally fixed the pink part of it. It has that blue hydrangea around the rim, and it's a great little cup now. I think it's going to be perfect on the table. It's going to fit right in. And then we had a noodle bowl that I had made on the wheel quite some time ago. And Carolyn glazed it, and it was great, except it had this one tiny little pock mark in the bottom.
Yeah. And it went all the way to the clay. It
could
was
see bare
not
clay through it,
just
right.
a dimple in the glaze due to a manganese speck or something. It wasn't that.
So Diana took some dried glaze and pushed it into the pock mark, left a little bit there where it was, and we just refired it, and now it's perfect. I think
You
it's
still
great.
see the spot,
But it's smooth. It's filled
yes.
with glaze. It's just completely smooth. And this is a great noodle bowl now. I can't wait to show that on the table. But now we need to talk about what was different on that last load.
Yes,
Because
so-
Diana was playing mad scientist.
I
with
was.
this load.
But this brings us to our question.
Right. Okay. So now we're going to segue into our question.
And then we'll come back to last week. This is how long last week was, guys. But yes, our question was asked from a fellow potter who came and visited us at the market. We'd seen her earlier this summer, and she shared photos of things she did. And so she came back this week and again sharing photos. And then she said to me, she said, what cone do you guys fire to anyway?
And that's normally a pretty easy question for
Yes.
us. We just say cone 6. and it's pretty easy.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But this time we changed things up a little bit because we realized that we're having a little bit of a problem at Cone 6 with the specks and the pock marks and the pitting in some of our pieces.
And it's happening with the 112, which has the manganese in it.
Right, and it's not unusual. It's just annoying. Right? I mean, it's just a thing that sometimes happens.
Who wants to have to refire all the time? You know.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, Diana was doing some research because that's what she does best, right? She's good at that, and
I try.
And she came up with a different programming schedule for our kiln, and she programmed that into our kiln. Now, understand, our kiln is pretty recent, and it has a computerized controller with a touch screen, and it's fairly sophisticated as far as kiln controls go. I will show a picture of the touchscreen so you understand what I mean. But Diana, what did you have to do?
Well, I had discovered that a lot of people recommended using this Camille Hoffman schedule. And basically what that is a technician from the Scutt Kiln Company
Scutt,
actually
S-K-U-T-T, that's the manufacturer.
Gave this schedule to help combat faults that occur in the glaze. Now, one thing that is different is yes, we generally fire to cone 6. So this last one, we actually only hit cone 5. But there is a hold at a lower temperature for 30 minutes. And that hold allows any of that outgassing that had happened to fully make it through the glaze layers and out so that the glaze smooths.
Right, and you can think of the pock marks and the flaws that happen in the glaze as bubbles that are caught mid-pop when they freeze in the glaze.
Right.
So a bubble emerges from outgassing from the clay, and rather than making it all the way to the surface and then popping, it gets to the surface, opens it up, and then freezes. Then the glaze cools enough that it sets it, and the pocks are really like half bubbles that form. So this new schedule is meant to combat that. Now understand, we could have also combated that just by not using our 112 clay at all, because it's the clay's fault for most of the flaws that we've been seeing.
And I did try doing a hold at the high temperature, but what seems to be the trick for this is that you lower it to a lower temperature and then do a hold. Because basically if you're holding at that higher temperature, you're actually climbing even higher, and you could end up with blistering.
Which is a different kind of problem.
Yes. So I'm real happy that it turned out. However, it is kind of funny because the clays that we use are able to be fired between cone 5 and cone 7.
Right, there's a range, cone 5 to 7.
So usually we'd always pick the cone 6, the little happy in the middle. And we've always had, really good results. So it was interesting to see how Sheltoe looks different at
and
cone 5.
It does. You can actually tell. I will show pictures. I don't know if it's going to show if the picture is going to do it justice.
It's still beautiful.
It is absolutely beautiful,
Yes.
but it is a little less dark and a little more red at cone 5 than cone 6. Now understand that when we say we fired it at cone 5, it was a very high cone 5. It was an almost cone 6. But the color change is discernible. You can actually see a little bit of a difference. And I don't know that it would be easy to pick out the color shift for everything, but we did notice a difference.
We did. But as far as the glazing goes, our glazes looked really nice. Yeah. And I was very happy with all of the pieces that came out. We seem to have less of the blemishes on pieces. And our thing is we always want to make sure that things are as safe as possible. And so I like to have, that clay not visible, because I don't want something to be able to soak into the clay and then bacteria form.
That's right. And you know, I don't know what the difference in moisture absorption between cone 5 and cone 6 is.
There's a little bit,
but it's not huge. But
it's not huge.
But it is there.
And the shrinkage is also a little different. So there might be a little tiny. I don't even know if
it would be a
notice
10th of a percentage point. We wouldn't notice it.
So. But we're going to try this for a while and see, and then maybe, who knows, we'll tweak it again.
We'll
but,
find out.
I felt really important, though, like...
Oh, yeah, fancy schmancy
yes,
technician.
I'm sitting in there putting in all these different segments.
She was a computer programmer, you guys, and normally I'm the tech person. Normally I'm the one that does all the tech stuff. But very proud of Diana for taking on that beast and being able to program it. But that opens the door for further experimentation later on.
Yeah.
We're going to take that same program and we're going to add a preheat onto it. Traditionally, you would call it candling, but the Scott program calls it preheating. Mm-hmm. Basically, what you do is you heat the ware up in the kiln to less than 200 degrees Fahrenheit, slightly less than 200 degrees Fahrenheit, and you hold it there for a while to make sure everything is completely dry. We have a really bad habit of glazing things and then just slamming them in the kiln, and rather than leave them out for sufficient amounts of time. So when we think that might happen, we always add in a preheat, and the new program doesn't have one built in, so we had to do a manual preheat for a couple hours, and then come out and
at 11:30 at night.
Yep, and then come out and start the kiln. And I guess that's one of
I was already asleep.
That's one of our secrets to getting those back-to-back kiln loads in, is we were hustling like literally 11 o'clock at night, turning on the kiln. Yeah. So anyway, that was a huge success. We love how everything turned out, and we're probably going to be using that new program every time now.
So that answers the question, what do we fire to?
Yeah, right. Up till now, it's been cone 6. Now we would call it a high cone 5, almost cone 6. Yeah. And we'll be changing it as time goes on. Yeah. And I guess that's kind of the way we should be doing things. We should be looking at every load and making small adjustments. We really need to be recording things because eventually our elements are going to start to go bad. And when we find that our firings are taking substantially longer than they should, then that means it's time to replace elements in the kiln.
Yes. So that's something we need to do that we haven't been doing.
And that guy's been working hard for 2 years. He's been pumping out the pottery. So,
well, more recent than that first year.
First year was pretty... He didn't work very hard that first year.
It took us a long time.
But now we are in the stage now where it's firing as often as it's not firing.
All right, well, let's head back to last week.
Yeah, because we also...
We're still not done there.
We also picked up our pottery that was at Ocean City.
Yes, and you've got some of that on the table.
Yep, triumphant return of some of our pieces that were at Clayapalooza at the... Art League of Ocean City. My big vase came back, and some of my favorite cups of all time made it back. Sadly, some pieces didn't make it back. We sold two,
but for good reason.
But for a good reason. We sold 2 of the cups that were set up on our mug tree. So we got 8 out of our 10 back. There's 6 here, and there's a couple more behind me. But Diana's pedestal pieces did not make it back. Unfortunately, they found a new home.
Yes. And we didn't get to meet the person who got them, but that's okay. I have to believe that they'll take really good care of it.
Yep. We hope they enjoy the pottery and that the pottery finds a safe home.
Yeah.
Right? So anyway, this stuff is the new stuff that will now make it to our market table this week. Wednesday. We'll take it Wednesday.
Yes, we will. So that'll be nice.
Yep. And so that's a return from last week. Now, we also made a bunch of stuff.
We did.
Too.
We did. And, last month our goal was 120 pieces. No, our goal was 100 pieces. Mm-hmm. Last week we told you all we had met that goal. Well, I actually had to go up.
We exceeded our expectations.
Our goal. We ended up with 120 pieces, guys.
Now, that doesn't mean that we can do 20 fewer this month, though.
No. So, but anyway, I have done our July goal. And, of course, it's 100. But, maybe it'll be able to go up past that,
Maybe.
So, but yes. All righty. So you want to talk about what you made?
Sure. So, the first thing that I'll talk about is this one bowl. And I just did this yesterday. it's still wet. Like if I touch it, I'm going to leave fingerprints on it. That's how wet it is.
How many pounds?
That was 3 pounds of clay.
Okay.
And it's going to be a beautiful bowl when it's finished. I'm really looking forward to meeting this when it's done. It's going to be a nice bowl. Also did those shot glasses.
Oh, yes.
A couple of those are fantastic. Cannot wait to see these guys.
I really like the bottom of
Yep, that one's nice. It's got a nice feel to it, nice heft.
Yes.
Then I have the one with the thumbprint here.
Okay.
So looking forward to a couple of those. And then I've got a bunch of cups and bowls and stuff behind me that I made as well. But you made a whole bunch of stuff too.
Not as much as I normally do because I'd spend so much of my time glazing. But I was talking about those magic shakers last week and I have them.
I can't wait to see how these work. Holy cow. They have no holes in the top.
They have no holes in the tops. And that's what was throwing me off. I'm like, where in the world does it come out? And lo and behold, this is hollow here. And inside is another cone like this outside with a hole in the top. So after you fill it, all of your pepper or your salt is in this outside hollow section. So then when you shaky,
I can't wait to see it.
it comes out, this comes back out the bottom.
Allegedly.
Yes.
Supposedly. We won't know for sure until we try it.
We'll see. But anyway, I did it. I managed to make them, but I could not wrap my brain around it. So I had to buy that template
The coolest
from De La Design because I was like, I don't get
Well,
it.
those are awesome. Those are cool. But the coolest thing I think is this little bread plate. This little toast plate.
Yes.
It's shaped like
cute.
a piece of bread.
Oh my gosh.
I can't wait to see it all glazed up.
Yes.
Nice.
You know, I love to eat a half a grapefruit in the morning, and I can just imagine putting my toast on this little piece. And of course, I was also making a butter dish.
Right. A matching butter dish.
Yes. And then last week I talked about the fact that I was trying to do a smaller mug for people that would hit about 10 ounces, maybe 10 to 12 or something like that, because my previous one, like this guy right here, which I just got finished glazing.
This one just came out of the load.
Yes. This is the lighthouse near us, Assateague Island Lighthouse. And this holds 16 ounces. So this might be a little too much for some people. So I had tried. So my first try has been through the kiln, and I have one now, and I measured it. And it holds between 6 and 8 ounces. 6 ounces if you're going to put cream and stuff in.
But right to the top, it's 8 ounces.
Yes, just a little bit below the rim was 8 ounces. So I was like, well, that did not hit the 10.
You need something a little bigger.
So I went back. I made the template a little bit bigger again. And now this one is my hope to be between 10 and 12. However, right now,
it looks similar.
It looks like that. But
remember, this one will shrink.
This is going to shrink. So
considerably.
hopefully this will be between this one and that one.
Yep.
That's my hope.
And I guess what we want to do is we want to have a range of sizes so that folks can pick up a teacup if they want a teacup, and a mug if they want a mug, and a shot glass if they want a shot glass.
Yeah, it's starting to spin.
It's not exactly in the middle.
Oh well.
That's okay. Push a glaze against it. There we go.
Perfect.
Yep.
I just didn't want that handle to come around and get knocked off. So.
Totally good.
And then of course we did have one more thing that we were able to take with us to the market this week, because you had gotten us a pair of new chairs.
Right. So the chairs we were taking were these folding up metal chairs. I mean, decent chairs, easy to manage because you just fold them up and throw them in the back of the truck. But they set us down pretty low.
So we spend most of our time standing.
Yeah. And we didn't really like how that put our head level kind of below the level of the wares that we were selling. So I picked up two director's chairs, folding director's chairs from Amazon. They're about $100 each. And I'll definitely show a picture of them. And they seem to work magnificently. I think they're going to be fantastic.
Yes.
They were quite comfortable.
Yes, they were very comfortable when we went. And they even have the little place to hold your water, and it's insulated. So
they've got an insulated cup holder.
Yes.
Nice.
So that, guys, was our week last week.
It was so busy. It was so diddly darn busy. I didn't get a chance to make the raku clay that I had been looking forward to making, so that's definitely on for this week. In fact, that's probably going to be this afternoon. I'll probably get started with that.
And we did get rain. Finally.
It rained.
So the burn ban has been lifted. And we feel very comfortable doing our
Sure, we could do
firing.
a raku fire.
And in fact, we may even get more rain this evening.
Yep.
So that's a good thing.
Yeah, we like the rain. We have some baby trees that need all the rain they can get.
So also this coming week, we're going to start trying to get our filming going for our first class.
That's right, you guys. We have 291 subscribers to our YouTube channel.
291?
Yeah, I checked this morning.
Oh my gosh.
291. And that means
more than I thought.
9 subscribers to go till we hit our goal of 300. So we're super excited about that. And we have to today start planning what we're going to do for our first how-to video.
Yes, and our first how-to video, we had a suggestion. Thank you so much, Lainey. Was my little funky chicken.
The funky chicken. I think that'd be great.
So I think we will do a filming of how I make that funky chicken. Maybe you can sit and make a funky chicken with me.
I think that'd be great.
It'd be fun.
Yep.
And then you all can make a funky chicken too.
Right. And understand that even though we're going to be making it out of clay that can be fired, in our kiln, you could just as easily make this out of air hardening clay or possibly even polymer, and you'll be able to scale it down a little bit if you wanted something a little smaller for if you're using polymer clay.
Yeah. So I think that's going to be fun. After this today, I'm going to start glazing, and then all tomorrow will be glazing because
we got it Tuesday. We got to load it up again Tuesday. We got to be full.
Yes, we got to have another glaze load.
If we don't maintain our pace, we're going to run out of pottery.
Yeah.
So we got to keep running.
So, and then of course we've got a lot of things that we want to make this week. Believe it or not, guys, it's time to make some more hearts again.
Yeah, they sell like hotcakes. Folks love our little heart trinket dishes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. So, and also I've had a lot of requests for the cardinals.
Yep.
Yeah, so we've got to get some of those made. I know you said you wanted to work on some 2-pound bowls this week.
Yes,
too.
I made a whole bunch of 1-pound bowls. I need to make 2 pounds. This was a 3-pound bowl to give you an idea. This is a large 1-pound bowl. This is probably a pound and a few ounces. But I need to make some 2-pound bowls for larger things, more like a soup bowl.
Right.
And more important than anything is raku. We gotta get some raku stuff done.
And we also need to do some more crab mugs and some more fish plates because
they're gone.
They're all gone.
Yep. So they're just gone.
They
jewelry,
swam away.
Some raku jewelry necklaces with the horsehair raku. Also, I want to dig out those mason stains and actually try to stain the raku for some for some jewelry and stuff. I think that'd be great. I have blue and I have purple.
Okay.
So we need
that'll
to
be
try
interesting to see how that works.
It's going to be a week filled with production and experimentation, which I think is probably the best thing ever.
Yes, most definitely. And then the other thing on our agenda for this week is starting to schedule our fall classes.
That's right. I'm going to work on, I know, it's way past time. I'm going to work on our website and get the schedules up because now we have to really start. I'm going to try. But we have to start scheduling our fall and winter classes because people are going to be asking about these.
They already are.
And I know we're going to be doing another homeschool art series, and we may end up doing another 6-week pottery course. We did that once. It was a fantastic success. It was 4 weeks, not 6.
It was 4 weeks.
4 weeks. And it was a fantastic success. So that's the kind of thing that we need to start scheduling. I may get my hands on another pottery wheel or 2, the cheap ones, maybe, so I can have more students in at a time doing wheel throwing lessons. I don't really know. But we definitely have to start thinking ahead to post-market season studio work.
Right. So, but for right now, our life is the market.
Yep. And it's fun. We have a good time.
It's a good time.
Yep.
It really is. And so we've got a lot of things to do today. So
I can't imagine how awful it would be if we were just bored. Wouldn't that be so boring? It'd be just boring.
It would be.
We have a lot kicking. Anything else we need to talk about?
Not a thing.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Please do hit that like and subscribe button. Don't forget the bell icon if you want to be notified of new content and all that stuff. But I think we're ready to wrap it up.
Yes.
Let's sign it out. Toodaloo, TTFN, ta-ta for now. Take care. Have a fantastic day no matter where you're at. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.